The Snow Fiend. In the northeastern land of Susen, the valleys stretch for 1,000 miles, and winter snow is always more than a foot deep. In the town of Zhaozhou lived 3 men, Zhang Mu, Su Kuei, and Dong Shan, all of whom made their living as hunters. In the winter month of the Xinhai year, fierce winds rose first, and the sky drooped with white fog. The 3 said, "The beasts must be hiding in their warm dens, easy to catch now." So they carried bows and spears and entered the deep forests of northern Manchuria. When they reached the forest's edge, the snow whispered and rustled, and heaven and earth were one white expanse. Suddenly, in the distance, they noticed enormous tracks in the snow, more than a foot deep, spanning over 10 feet from one to the next, clearly not made by any ordinary beast. Su Kuei, strong and fierce, laughed and said, "That must be a giant northern bear. Catch it and we'll be rich for a year." Zhang Mu had doubts, and Dongshan stayed silent. Crossing a valley, they found the forest wind growing harsher. Suddenly, they heard a strange roar, shaking the air like clashing metal or stone. Terrified, they raised their torches and saw a massive figure standing amid the storm. More than 10 feet tall, its skin looked like iron, its muscles and bones partly exposed, glinting with cold light. Its eyes glowed like heated copper, and its breath billowed like steam. Zhang Mu cried out, "This is no man, no beast, it's a snow fiend." The creature took steps 10 feet long, the wind and snow scattering around it. Its arms swung like wheels. Su Kuei fought with all his strength, but his spear snapped like carved wood. Moments later, his chest was smashed open, blood sprang across the white snow, and he died. Dongshan tried to flee, but the moment he turned, the creature seized him. His body tore apart like rotted grass, and he could not even make a sound. Zhang Mu was terrified out of his wits and fled into a steep ravine. The snow came up to his waist, and his toes felt like ice. The creature chased him to the ravine's mouth and let out a wail, mournful and fierce, like thunder shaking the wilderness. Then it vanished into the roaring wind. Zhang Mu lay buried in the snow, unconscious. At dawn, mountain villagers searching for firewood found him, carried him back to the village, and revived him. Only after more than 10 days did he awaken. When he told what had happened, everyone who heard it was horrified. Some doubted him, but later, villagers found gigantic tracks in the forest, some old and some new, matching his description. At dusk, whenever wind and snow began to rise, the woods seemed to cry, no one dared enter. Afterward, Zhang Mu never hunted again. He moved south. Whenever he described the snow fiend, his hair would stand on end, and he would say, "Though that thing has a form, it has no feeling." And among heaven and earth, unnatural things born outside their proper order may not be merely tales. Commentary from the Old Man of the Strange Tales. I have heard that in the lands of the West, there was a scholar named Frankenstein, gifted from a young age and fascinated by the workings of nature. He once read ancient secret writings that described a technique to animate bodies with electricity. This amazed him, and he said to himself, "Life and death may be separated by only a breath. Perhaps I can control that boundary." From then on, he shut himself indoors day and night, burning lamp oil as he worked without rest. He collected human bones, stitched together muscles and tendons, forged iron into a skull frame, and carved wooden pieces to form limbs. Neighbors occasionally saw him coming and going from graveyards with dirt on his sleeves and whispered among themselves, "This man must be meddling in things even spirits would not tolerate." After several months, his workshop became dark even at midday, filled with a foul, animal-like odor. Frankenstein hung a corpse on a frame, threaded silver needles through its joints and bones, fitted metal rods into it, and surrounded it with strange devices. One night a violent storm struck, lightning writhed across the sky like serpents. Frankenstein was overjoyed and shouted, "Heaven itself assists me." He pulled a long cable, channeling the lightning into the corpse. At once, sparks exploded with a roar like an enraged dragon. The corpse's fingertips twitched, its eyelids trembled. Frankenstein, thrilled to madness, rushed closer to see. Suddenly a tremendous roar erupted. The corpse's eyes flew open, yellow pupils flaring like dying embers revived. Its skin was rough like decayed leather, its muscles bulged hideously, neither fully human nor beast. It rose to its feet, towering over 8 feet tall, breathing heavily like an ox. Frankenstein was terrified and staggered several steps back. The creature turned its head toward him, as if recognizing its creator, yet its face was fierce and savage like a starving ghost. It howled wildly. Frankenstein, stunned and confused, felt as though heaven and earth had changed color around him. That very night, the creature escaped, running through snowy mountains and forests. People later claimed to glimpse its shadow by frozen rivers and icy fields. Thus, the Snow Fiend described earlier and the abominable creature mentioned later are both gigantic in body, terrifying in appearance, unmatched in strength, and seen in the desolate lands of the far north. Are these two different names for truly different creatures? Or are they in fact the same monster, with the stories merely diverging over time? This matter is difficult to judge from any angle. I leave it to thoughtful readers to ponder and decide for themselves. The above was selected from 1887 edition of Strange Tales from DonChang County by Zoe Tong.